Hello again, YouTube. Zaire here again. This is going to be my second video for my channel. I hope you enjoyed my introduction. This video is just going to be very quickly breaking down the different components of a standard, basic electronic cigarette. What I mean by that is, so there's a lot of different models actually, you might not know this, but there's a lot of different models of electronic cigarettes, and not all e-cigs are created equally, apparently, as I found out. So I'm going to talk about the different components of an electronic cigarette and what you're looking for in these components, what it is that produces the maximum amount of enjoyable flavor, vapor, thickness, and throat hit, which I will demonstrate. Okay, so let's start off with the battery. Every electronic cigarette uses a battery. There's actually nothing else to this thing. It's basically a battery that has a charge, depending on the size of it and depending on the quality and what kind of manufacturer, you will get different lifetimes out of these. Some will last you just a few hours, and some might last you half the day or the entire day, depending on what kind of battery you get. So most electronic cigarettes will come with one of these. So you have the battery. It has a connection. All right, this is a 808 connection, and what that basically means is that there are threads on the battery going outwards, and then on the cartridge, or I used to call them filters, but actually they're called Cartomizers. If you don't know what a Cartomizer is, get used to that word. This is a Cartomizer. This is what actually holds the nicotine solution, or e-liquid, e-juice, and this thing actually, alright, so let me just, okay, so here is the other end of that connection that I was talking about. This is like a input connection, so alright, the 808, the battery goes into the Cartomizer. Okay. Like I was saying, so if you don't know how these things work, it's very simple. This thing has a heating element inside called an atomizer. It's basically like a coil. It's a little coil wrapped around a filament or a wick, right? And the wick absorbs the juice through polyfill material, or like cotton gauze. It's basically like spongy stuff is inside this thing, which you drip which has the e-liquid in it, and then that feeds the e-liquid into the atomizer, gets it wet, and then when you put these two things together and you activate it or fire it, the battery shoots a charge through the battery shoots a charge from the battery into the heating element, which heats up the vapor and gives you vapor. In a nutshell, that's how an electronic cigarette works, in case you were curious. Okay, so I've talked about the battery a little bit. Just another thing. Okay, so batteries can either come with a manual button, which manually activates the battery. And that's kind of nice. You're not going to see a lot of these. if you're getting them at like convenience stores or off the street. Usually what you're going to find is an automatic battery. Okay, I have two, by the way. This is an automatic battery. This thing has no button because it activates simply just by pulling on it like you would a cigarette. Nice. Alright. So those are the two different types of batteries that are like available to you. Okay, so what makes a good cartomizer? There's different types. This is a horizontal coil cartomizer. Basically means that, oh man, so this is getting all complicated. Yeah. This is a horizontal coil cartomizer. So the heating element inside is like horizontal as opposed to vertical, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get into it, sorry. But basically, different companies make them differently, and some are better than others. Point blank. Some of these are way better than others, okay? Like seriously. If you get like a cheap brand, you're gonna experience a burnt chemical aftertaste, which is very unpleasant. Like basically, after you finish it, after a day or two, you know, I'm just guessing, like a day or two after you finish it, it will start to burn, making it unusable. So you toss it, you know, you throw it away, and you buy more. And that's what I did for a long time. I would just use these, and they would run out, and they would start to taste like crap, and I would throw them out and buy more. Apparently, take a drink of water. Apparently, not all cartomizers are like that. Some of them you can actually refill. And some of them are designed to actually last a very long time while you refill them. So that's nice. Now, like if you have one like this with a an end cap that you can pull off, I'll show you. Okay. You can look inside. Oh, okay. So this is the gauze filling that I was talking about. This is what absorbs the liquid and brings it down into the atomizer, which is closer to this side. So the nice thing about these is you can refill them, and they last a long time, and you get no burnt chemical aftertaste. They don't burn or die as easily depending on where you get them. Again, these are the Cartomizers from Halo. Oh, and this is actually the LR on this thing stands for low resistance. So that's a whole nother thing about electronic cigarettes. I highly recommend, if you want to like know more about it, P. Busardo has a primer video on electronic cigarettes, which is pretty long, but it covers just about everything you would want to know about how these things work. Way more in depth and way more in detail than this video. Pretty much making this video obsolete before I even post it. Regardless, if you're new to electronic cigarettes and wanted to get an idea of how they work, that's basically it. So what you're looking for is lifetime on the battery. You want milliamp hours. You want, you know, a high amount of milliamp hours on your battery, which basically just means a long lifetime. You want voltage is very important. So you want a battery with a good amount of voltage or output power. And then you want a cartomizer system that will not burn itself and die essentially, which ideally can be refilled so you can use it multiple times. And in my future reviews, I'll be showing you where you can get e-cigarettes like these, as opposed to the ones that you can get off the street, which are not designed to last that long in my experience. Okay. Oh, and of course, like the secret to vaping is it's actually in the liquid, it's in the juice that you are vaping, which makes a lot of sense. That is it. That is like the secret to having a good vaping experience, to having a good device, is you gotta find a liquid, a flavor. So flavor is very important. You gotta find a flavor that you like and enjoy. It's gotta produce um, it's gotta produce good thick amounts of vapor, and it's gotta have throat hit, or like enough of a kick, nicotine, to like give you that satisfying hit. So those three things, the battery, the heating element slash cartomizer, and the e-liquid are really what make a great electronic cigarette. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope it wasn't too long or hard to follow. So have a great night and check out my other videos. Alright, bye.